Hey, I'm going to be talking about the silver price and what it means for the overall economy. Um, if you go to historic averages over the last 20 years, it's usually been somewhere around $20, $25, $30. Got down in the teens or even like 11 or 12 at the worst part of COVID when everything was questionable and up in the air. And now it's hit 82 last week, and it went back down a little bit yesterday, and it's back up. So it's like 75 today for an asset we used to think was worth 20 or 25. So what does that really mean? Anyway, we're going to start by talking about these coins that I've got right here. These are silver coins. Before 1964, U.S. had silver in their nickels, in the dimes and quarters and half dollars and dollar coins. That was the 1943 quarter. This one, I can't read it, but alright, I'm going to pause and try to read that. Alright, I think the dime is a 1951 dime, so that's a silver dime, silver quarter. And these are like 99% silver in these coins. They have a different cling to them than if you have regular modern quarters. Alright, here these are just two modern. There's what it sounds like, the modern. I don't know. I can't even hear it today, but they say it's a higher pitched when you do those. Anyway, enough about the coins. We're going to talk about silver and what it means. So basically, historically, silver and gold were money. And when people try to do other things, it usually results in economic collapse. And so I do think this is going to be an economic collapse of some kind over the next decade or two or three or four. Silver hitting 80 is a sign that something weird is coming. And let's talk about what that is. So we used to have silver certificates that where a dollar bill or $5 bill would say it would be paid in silver or gold. If you took it to the right bank, probably in Washington, D.C. or maybe other places. Anyway, we don't have that anymore. The U.S. dollar is backed by nothing. And so, basically, people are slowly appreciating that the dollar doesn't have much value. And the only value is what other people imagine it has. So, you can take a dollar bill and go pay a bill with it. That's really all the value it has. Silver has an implied intrinsic value from a lifetime. So, the quarter is probably worth $15, $16. It's not versus 25 cents. So, at $80, a quarter doesn't quite have a quarter ounce of silver in it. So, I don't know. I'm saying $16, $17 value there, which back when it was minted in 1943, it was worth 25 cents. So that's how much inflation has devalued our currency here in America, and most other countries are having the same problem. I think the current silver problem is actually about problems with the Chinese, because they're buying a lot of silver in China because they don't trust their own currency. And so America is probably going to have like a slower aftershocks of the crash that's coming rather than to be the hardest hit. Anyway, what do I recommend? Definitely keep your job. If you react to a crash, you can actually make it worse. So you need to keep doing what you do to make a living and just try to keep everything stable. But you also should be preparing. I like to have a water source planned so you don't have so you're not totally dependent on if your water gets shut off because of the economic collapse that might come. Have some food stocked up, have a garden set up. I'll show you some of this stuff in my life here in a couple seconds. So let's talk about food first. We have a well-stocked pantry with canned fruit, different stuff we bought. Not a lot of pasta, but some. And some buckets of food down at the bottom. And oranges too, but they're not going to last real long. But we're just ready for a snowstorm or anything else. We have a high quality water filter called a Berkey. And that means we can take almost any water, put it in the top, and get drinkable water out of the bottom, regardless of the quality of the water we put in the top. It's December, so I can't show you much growing, but this is in my greenhouse. We've got beets growing, and we have a garden outside that has food production as well. Alright, out here is my garden, and it's not in very productive phase right now, but it should be back to that next spring. And we can wash clothes by hand if we have to hang them up. So we're not purely self-sufficient, but we're close. And I recommend you trying to do the same in your own way so you're ready for the crash when it comes. Now back to the silver. A lot of people would say, hey, I should put my money in silver right now. And that's possibly a good idea. But I'm going to suggest a few things. The one is dollar cost averaging. Like if you decide you're going to put a certain amount of money into silver and invest it there, I would consider spreading it out over several months. Like say spending a quarter of what you're wanting to spend every month for 4 months, what they call dollar averaging, or if it's a lot, maybe even a whole year. Because I think this market's going to do some strange things, and there's going to be more stability, and if you buy it all today and then it crashes, then that looks like a really bad investment. So anyway, all that to say, the thing that actually makes a crash happen is when everybody believes the crash is about to happen. But you need to be wise with how you're preparing, even though you still need to, if we quit our jobs now, it'll make the crash a lot worse. So I don't recommend anything like that. But I do think a crash is coming, so be prepared.